Why, hello there, fellow ranchers. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Icarus Elysium. Episode 16, Taming the Fauna of the Dunes. So for the snare and baits, the reason why I want the hyena, hyenas have a, much like the tuskers have a like AoE, and I know you want a manufactory. I'm just like gonna get a hyena while we wait, because it's pretty passive. So the hyena has an AoE heat resistance aura, and that's really nice in the desert. So the current party is tame a hyena and make a manufactory. All right, I need a little bit of gamey meat for the hyena stuff done. Actually, I should have looked. Do I need to clean the sand off the greenhouse for it to work? Nope. So, animal fat. Yep, the greenhouse is totally done and doesn't require really any maintenance. So I'm making 2 hyena bait, and then I want a snare trap, which is fiber, stick, rope, and stone. Fiber. I'll have to make sticks, but that's fine. I'm going to make a lot of sticks because I'm going to turn a lot of them into tree sap anyway. Sticks. Rope. Stone. Cool. Alright, I haven't done oxygen in a bit. I probably don't need to everyday carry the shovel. There's really not a lot of use for shovels. And, there's a raptor, not with a juvenile. I'm going to be trying to lure the hyena close-ish to the base so that it's not like a struggle for me to feed it or whatever. I'm surprised I haven't given away to draw sap from trees. There are some plants that will give you sap when you cut them down. Like the new agave does that, for instance. So you can plant agave to get sap. I mean, there's ways to do it. But there isn't like a sap tap. So, that much is true. Alright, I got the bait. Got the snare. Let's go get a hyena. And then we'll start grinding out the materials for the manufactory, which hopefully won't be too rough of a grind. Alright, so zebra. Zebra. Oh, there's a hyena. Perfect. So let's have the hyena be trapped here. That way I can, like, see it from the base. Not you. Not you. You. Come on. There we go. Yoink. We're done. I just have to feed it periodically. That's it. That's why I wanted to do it right now, because it's just pretty convenient. And just to reiterate, for the trapping, there's 2 types of taming. There's juveniles and wild animal taming. So hyenas can only be wild animal tamed. There's no juvenile version of a hyena that you find. And the way these works is you snare them, you provide them food and privacy, meaning that like being next to them all the time will piss them off and they won't tame as fast. And then you just wait. But yeah, here's all the bonuses that our farm now has. It has the full greenhouse bonus. It's got the water bonus. It's got the bee bonus. It's got sunlight, because as you can see, even though it's sandy up there, it still has the sunlight bonus from magic. And then it has my own, like, trait bonuses. So it has a ton of bonuses, which is awesome. So let's talk about the manufactory. The manufactory requires... Most of the grind here is going to be electronics, I think. I already have the titanium for it. So let's get that titanium hammered out. So that is 10 plates. And then the electronics, I foresee gold wire being the bottleneck. So going into local caves and getting gold for the gold wire seems to be the thing we're going to need. I could also set up a deep drill for the gold site next to us. There's that, obviously. And then making sure that we have enough epoxy and organic resin. And the organic resin is going to be oxide plus the wood that we get from our farm. And the epoxy is probably going to be the same thing. Now, there's an alternative path to epoxy eventually. So the way that... let me just take a minute to explain Tier 5 tech. Once you have the manufacturer, you get a pump jack. And the pump jack allows you to extract oil from these oil wells. And the pump jack requires a considerable amount of power. It's 1,000 power per pump jack. Then you can refine the crude oil into refined oil, because basically every use, almost every single use of oil is refined oil, by feeding the pump jack's oil to the crude oil refinery. And then once you have enough oil, you need 150,000 milliliters of refined oil, which takes a while to amass. You can make a polymerizer, which allows you to turn that refined oil into epoxy, plastics, synthetics, and compounds, which is the basis for Tier 5 tech. You can also, like, turn it into biofuel. I'm not really, like, you could. I'm not going to, but you could. And then that leads to uranium and lithium. The TLDR of lithium is all of the lithium tools do something weird. So the lithium knife, for instance, turns bone and leather into carbon paste, which is awesome unless you want bone and leather. The lithium axe, you know, can convert tree sap and organic resin when felling. So you had just asked, you're surprised that there's no, like, weighted tree sap? Well, if you want just pure tree sap, you can craft a lithium axe, and just everything you cut down will become sap. You know? There's the lithium sickle. Now, this one's interesting. You have a chance when you reap fruits and veggies to turn it into tainted plant DNA, which allows you to then plant exotic plants. Very strange. But basically, all of the lithium tools have, like, this weird usage, much the same way that the miasmic and cold iron stuff did too, right? The cold steel stuff had interesting, you know, frozen ore type thing, and then the lava stuff had its own. So the lithium is kind of similar in that regard. It's just worth pointing out. All right. And then the other thing we're going to need is a whole bunch of composites. So that's organic resin. So I think at this point we need, like, oxide. But before we do any of that, let's go ahead and drop some more food off at our hyena friend who's going to want to get fed. And that might be a little tricky because there's not a lot of critters on this map tile that are, that you can move around on your shoulders. There's, like, cougars and boars, and that's about it. So there's a real subset of animals that I can do that. Oh, you know what? Hold on. There we go. Well, just to make sure to keep this thing fed. So it's already almost 40% tamed. Oh! Oh no, that raptor doesn't have a juvenile. I thought I saw a juvenile with it. Oh, is that a juvenile raptor right there? Or is that a draven? Oh no, that might be a juvenile raptor. Excuse me, but the opportunity, as I mentioned, as soon as I found a juvenile, I was going to drop what I was doing. Because the goal of the series is to become a raptor breeder. Oh no, this one's adult. Look at you using serpentine. Unfortunately, I have a shock stick as a melee weapon, so you shall not pass. Oh, that is a juvenile. Hello, baby. You're coming with me. Oh, yeah. So I just need to make sure that nothing hostile is going to try to stop me. Meaning, like, kill everything that can do it harm as I run it back. Luckily, I have a creature to turn over my base. So there's, like, a very low likelihood of that being an issue. But yeah, the ratio of, like, raptors that actually have juveniles is, like, 1 in 15 or something. It's pretty low, which is why I was like, yeah, if I get the opportunity, I'm actually absolutely going to take it. So, stop leading you, and you're too cold right now, and you're unhappy. So what I want to do is make it daytime and also get you an animal bed. So I'm going to go get fiber and fur, and make an animal bed for you to chill. I could also set a fire down here, but if I can just, like, make it daytime, it's kind of not a problem. So, I'll just make it daytime. Here we go. And here's one more piece of food. Because the raptors, they actually fare pretty well in the desert. Temperatures, it's not so bad. So they should be pretty happy with the ambient temperature now that they're, you know, sleeping in this biome. Okay, back on track. I'm going to add the raptor to the priority, though. So tame a hyena and raptor, and make a manufactory. So for the electronics, because I think right now our bottleneck is electronics, we will need epoxy, gold, and copper. So I'm going to go for the gold first, because gold comes from caves. All the while, I'm going to make sure to keep feeding my pets. So it's going to be juggling a lot of things, but I think that's alright. And I'm going to pick up bloodlines as a new trait. So what are you at now? You're at 71%. You're going way faster than I thought you would. Some of that is like, I have a bunch of the animal breeding talents on me, which I'm sure are like fundamentally speeding it up. So who can I pick up here? Kind of none of you. I need smaller game. Because yeah, the dribbos are too big. They're too heavy. It's like boars, other hyenas. There's not a lot of stuff that I can actually physically yoink. Oh, scorpion. It's gross, but that'll work. Or the boar. Let's feed it boar. One disadvantage of the desert, just to be blunt, the desert doesn't really have a lot of high-yield caves. So, ore from the desert, low-key sucks. Just throwing it out there. It's not great. Really, truly not great. So, deep drilling is going to be pretty important. And with that in mind, we do have a deep drill of titanium here. Right? We have a titanium drill right there that I will revisit once I have a raptor. Because I want a mount so that if I'm encumbered, the raptor, I can just ride the raptor and it won't be an issue. Alright. So let's head down to the cave, our local caves, and see what kind of gold ore there is for us to exploit. For gold wire and copper, of course, because electronics always needs copper. And then we might need to go out to other caves. We're also going to want oxide for organic resin, and then we're going to want sulfur for epoxy. Come on. Come on. You know, at this point, I'll just, like, leave ramps in here permanently. Because, ooh, a queen. Hot dang. That's really nice. Because I'm sure I'm going to need to clean that hive out until I get, like, a dehumidifier. But there might not even be a reason for me to clean the hive out, because, like, having these worms aren't going to really stop me much. And then having a potential income of queens from the local cave is, like, better than having to kill a few worms occasionally. So I'd rather actually not dehumidify this cave. Another thing I could consider is to, especially once I get the hyena and raptor, is to get a thumper and thump the voxels back into this cave. I generally don't like to get thumping until I have, like, combat pets, because I don't want to use up, like, all of my bullets defending against, like, teenage worms and other, like, baby cave worms and the land sharks. But, like, once you have some combat pets, the thumper becomes a lot less annoying to use. So that might be an alternative for me as well. But yeah, there doesn't seem to be any gold in this cave, so I'm gonna head to other caves in a minute. I know there's still resources there, I just don't care. Wayfarer 4. Travel 100 kilometers. Yeah, I kind of doubt that, but sure. No, hey, actually, that might make sense. No, don't blow up on me. These things blow up with, like, fire damage when they get destroyed, so you don't want to sit on top of them. Now, I would say MOAs are still not a bad second choice for, like, travel pets, because they are pretty fast. Ultimately, like, any mount that can outrun apex predators, like stalkers and polar bears, once you can outrun that stuff, they're all about the same value. Because, I mean, ultimately, I would say the most important thing that you would look for in most mounts is either carry capacity or speed. Right? There's not, you know, one of the advantages of the Raptors over the other pets is the Raptors are one of the only mounts that have regen on kill, the endless hunger. Almost all the other mounts do not have that, which means that Raptors are a very good hybrid of combat mount. And there's not a lot of animals in this game that you could say are a decent combat mount, which in my mind puts Raptors in kind of a new category of really, really powerful combat mounts. Which is one of the reasons why, like, the whole goal of the series is to run with them. Yeah, Raptors are so OP, you feel bad for the Slinkers. Yeah, the advantage of the Slinkers, though, is, like, if gravity kills you a lot, Slinkers are great. Because Slinkers can be immune to fall damage and also can run jump. And run jump is pretty cool. It's not Raptor level cool, I will admit. But most animals can't sprint jump. They have to come to a complete stop before jumping, which is not great. Whereas Slinkers can sprinting jump, which is pretty unique, I would say. amongst mount types. And then also they have the ability to be completely invulnerable to fall damage, which is also pretty awesome. But raptors easily take the cake as the more powerful of the two. Every day of the week. All right, 528 wood on that harvest. I will plant something else. Because at this point, I've got a nutty amount of coconuts. Let's do sugarcane and tea. Actually, I'll do a combination. Then we'll do 2 prickly pear and yeast. There. And I'm mostly just like going to grind them back up into seeds for higher yield. Can coconuts be used for animal food? Sadly, no. They used to be able to. But now the mature coconuts, as you can see, they don't have a label. A lot of the food will have, like, it will be either fruit or vegetable or silage or something. And coconuts are just coconuts. They're like, they don't have a type of food on them. I don't know if this is a bug or, like, intentional. But whatever the case might be, they aren't suitable for animal feed. They used to be, though. Alright, we need gold. So back to the manufactory, and I should check on my pets too. So let's quickly go feed the raptor at the very least. Only 20% progress, probably because it's like constantly too hot, but it's not like I have an air conditioner. And the hyena is done, because I see it has a little tracking triangle over here. So sweet. The first thing I want to do, hyenas are also really good combat pets. But the first thing I want to do with the hyena is to get the hyperthermia bonus. And then I'll set it up for combat. Can you tame cougars? Nope. So we've got the hypothermia down here in fever control. So that's the path I'm going to go. Reduces desert water consumption. And now that I have this, they are wild, so they didn't come with an interesting bloodline. But raffle timer's up for it. And I'm going to tell it to just defensively wander around here. So it did get some adaptation for cold and heat resist. It picked up a little bit of move speed and a little bit of melee damage and carry weight. Carry weight's completely pointless. And then it has like bad vigor. It has less than 3 vigor, so it has significantly less fitness. So it is really not a good combat pet in terms of its genes. So it's a bit of a stinker, but for the hyperthermia aura, it doesn't really matter. Yo, quit wandering so far. So we cooked up a whole bunch of epoxy and organic resin, and now the bottleneck is just like gold. So in the local cave that I have here, we found silica and gold. So it could, if I got a drill, we could drill for it. But at least for now, I think what I'm going to do is search other caves. So there's a cave here that we can check once the sand stops. And there's a cave here as well. Check those caves for gold. For the gold wire. Oh, another thing I ought to make and have on me is a splint. Because having a broken bone, like, out in the wild super sucks. So having a few splints on me as insurance. Because I'm running around with a one suture kit. I should probably have more than one. But I already have 4 bandages. So we'll do 3 splints. And then... I probably ground all the bones up. But yeah, I want to save some bone to get a... some more suture kits. Because unless you have survival medicine packs, like, it's pretty handy to have... you know, at least some splints, some sutures, and some bandages in case you get status effect. Things here are looking good. Alright, I'm going to start heading to the new cave, looking for gold. Are the new mounts available on other maps? Most of the new mounts are exclusive to Elysium. There's a lot of creatures that are Elysium exclusive, but not all of them. See how quick they aggro? So if you want to know what creatures you can tame, if you can't make a snare bait for it, you cannot tame it as a wild critter. So every single juvenile, if the juvenile version exists, you can tame it. And if the snare and bait type exists, you can tame it. So that's like the list of what you can tame, if you were wondering. And then if you're wondering if you can breed it, if the fertility serum exists, you can breed it. So you can find the fertility serums here. So if there isn't a fertility serum for it, it cannot be bred. So for instance, Tuskers do not have a fertility serum because they are unbreedable. Don't you need the bone? I do for the sutures, yeah. Well, and also technically for epoxy, but I'm mostly here for gold. Right, let's get into this bad boy, looking for gold. And if I don't find gold in the local caves, I'll just make a deep drill for it. Oh, I hear bees. Oh, same cable as my last one. And we have exotics too. Why am I using... I should just use my spear. I go to my knife as if I don't have a spear. So much easier to kill those things with spears. Ooh, got another queen. Lucky find. Well, we have the bare minimum amount of gold here. 1 node. I could get attachments for my pick for gold as well. The reason why I'm not going that route like last time is jackhammers that you eventually get access to will mine basically every metal as efficiently as possible, as well as like stone and coal and things like that. So you don't really need it, in other words. You don't need to go the attachment route if you intend to do jackhammers, which I do. Because regular picks cap out, like the titanium picks cap out at like 140, and then or 160, and then you can get plus 40, and the jackhammers go up to like 200. So there's just a bare minimum amount of gold here. I'm going to leave the ramps there, that's fine. The other thing I could do is thump. I had mentioned that. But I'm going to check like 1 or 2 more caves for gold before I start thumping, because as soon as I start thumping, I'm going to be using my resources to make a thumper rather than to make a manufactory. So yeah, sometimes you have to spend some to make some, but not always. What were the deep sites? There was salt in there, and I actually overlooked the other thing. What's going on here? Sleepy Raptor? I almost feel bad for capping it. Ooh. More stringy meat. And we hit the big 5-0. So we'll get the next point in... You know, I'm not even... I'm not sure I want to go that route. I think I'm going to start working towards exotic spinner now. Because I'd rather have that. And let's put another point in gun to a gunfight. Alright, little guy, how's your taming progress? 30%. Yeah, I haven't been really keeping you fed. I'll try to do better, but juggling too many things, I think. Alright, so the leather and the... Let's grab some fiber for the suture kits. So 3 should be a decent amount, I think. And then get this gold smelted. So we can start to make wires. Have I thought about aluminum ramps? Nah. I'm good with stone. I almost never place anything but thatch ramps, so I don't need to... I don't care about that stuff. Alright, so that cave was a bit of a bust. There is another cave that is actually a tunnel, and that would be over here. And that has a greater chance to satisfy my need because it's a bigger, being a tunnel. So we'll head there next. But before I do that, let's go and, having just been speaking about thatch, get a whole bunch of thatch ramps so that that cave can't block us or lock us. Oh, I put away the bone and leather. Well, 2 sutures is fine. And I'll just grab the bone and leather. Make a clean 3. Or not, because I'm using all the fiber. Alright. Note to self, plant more fiber. Running low. We'll get a little bit of fiber from the prickly pears, I think. They give fiber as well. But, like, just not a whole lot. So, with the 17 gold that, or the 20 gold or whatever we just smelted, 19, whatever it was, we'll see how much we can stretch this for electronics. So I got my ramps, got my suture kits, and then all the other sticks just become set. Bone. So I'm down to like about 400 fiber, which is really not a lot of fiber. Considering like I can't really, there's barely any plants here in the desert for it. That's the next thing I'm going to have to plant for. So I'm using up all the gold, and we have 17 more electronics paired with the 15 I have already. It doesn't get us up to the, what is it, 45 that we need? Gets us closer, though. Repair my gun? Yeah, not a bad idea. Alright. Let's head over to the cave. After feeding the little one. Where is he? Where is the juvenile? Oh, for real? Do I have to stick you in a pen? You're gonna get yourself killed if you wander away like that. There are, like, fences and stuff, and I could, like, put it in a fenced pen. I'm just hoping it doesn't wander away too far. Oh, also the raffle timer. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Highland Timber. You're this thing. This hyena. Let's get another bed for it. Again, using more fiber. Because if the hyena's sitting, it will monopolize it. So, we'll need fiber and fur. Actually, I'm going to get 2 more beds. Just so they're not likely to be competing. The reason why I ran out of ammo is I just, like, auto-shoved it into the anvil. But I picked it back up. So it wasn't that I didn't have any, it was that I had put it away. Okay, you're sleepy? Cool. You, Highland Timber, how about you follow me? Defensively. Because of the amount of stuff I kill constantly, he'll be able to draft off of my experience and level up pretty good, I think. Already level 2. Just ignore the fact that I'm, like, killing your friends here. And enjoy the experience. I can name him Timber. You got it. Oh, another guard tower. That's probably a good amount of experience. Oh, bad time for a reload. Yes, go bite the drone. Good boy. Alright, that gives you 1 point away from having hyperthermia resistance. Let's go get that 1 point. Yo, humies! Get ready to get pumped. Yeah, you can call your friends. It won't matter. You're corpsicles to me. And this time it's not a sandstorm, so I can actually see my targets. Done! Oh no, there's one more that wanted to tangle. Pop! Alright, what do we got here? More bullets. And more beer with water treatment. I don't need water treatment pills. Thank you for tuning in to Icarus Elysium, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow prospectors.